Hello and welcome to A Mindful Moment. I'm Justin Epstein, author of the top-selling book Super You and minister of the Unity Center of New York City. Today we're going to talk about the first skill number one for developing relaxed concentration. And that skill is, that's right, awareness. Awareness. And we're continuing in looking at a book that was perhaps the first spiritual book I ever read, The Inner Game of Golf, which the principles were used to write several other books and can be applied to any area of our life. So today we're talking about we're talking about developing the skill of awareness. So Tim Galway talks about the essence of awareness skills is learning to see things as they are, that is, non-judgmentally. Very important to see things as they are, non-judgmentally. Now, this whole idea of seeing things as they are reminds me of one of the paths of yoga. In yoga philosophy, they talk about there's three primary paths where we all have a mixture of each of them, but one of those paths is discrimination. The path of wisdom, learning to see things not as we hope they will be, not as we wish they were, but rather as they are. When we're able to see things as they are and people, then we're able to take effective action. What's coming to mind as I'm speaking is the fact that Paul Ekman, who is a famous psychologist, he's done a lot on reading facial expressions and how to tell if people are lying and so on. And it turns out that a lot of people are actually ineffective at knowing when someone's lying. We've heard that whole adage about, looking at eye contact to determine if someone's lying. Well, everyone knows that, including the liar. So they know how to fake that stuff. But what they discovered is that people who are actually good at detecting lying are Tibetan monks. The Tibetan monks who are trained in awareness, in being present to what's happening in their mind and in their feelings and in their body, were the best at being able to detect when someone was lying because they weren't seeing what they expected or what they, stereotyped on the person. They saw what was. Isn't that interesting? So awareness is the first skill because you can't change something. Well, let's put it another way. Nothing can change until we're first aware of it. And that's what awareness is all about. So he goes on to say that awareness is curative only when there is no judgment and when it is combined with purpose, effective action, and learning can take place. So no judgment. Now I'll give an example of a golfer first. So to relate it to other areas of life. For instance, he says a golfer, if the ball ends up in sand or in a hole in the fairway, which I've done that before, you can get a great shot and it ends up in somebody else's divot in the fairway, or out of bounds or in the water, wherever. He makes a point, don't judge it negatively, because if you judge it as good or bad, then you won't see it as it is. You won't be able to deal effectively with it. Also to mention, if we judge it, we have negative feelings about it, which produces tightness and doubt and decreases the effectiveness. So just seeing it as it is, it is what it is, and then deal with it effectively. I think we can see how that would work well in our life as well. He says on page 178, it's important to see the situation in clear detail. Negative judgments tend to obscure your vision of what you wish wasn't there and to cause doubt and tightening. And here's an interesting statement too. Positive judgments tend to make you feel it's unnecessary to see details and you become too casual. Well, psychology has also shown that people with a real positive attitude may not see the details that an anxious person might see. Isn't that interesting? So I thought it was interesting that he would bring that up. that if you got too positive of an attitude, you may not see the details you need. Oh, it's a divot, I'll hit it right out of the divot, or whatever. Instead, don't judge it. Be present to what is, and then we can deal effectively with it. Tim, in his book, The Inner Game of Work, which was also a great book, he talks about attending a meeting. And in the meeting, the head of the manager was giving unsolicited advice. I mean, it seemed like she was handing out advice unasked for pretty regularly. And that's apparently a pet peeve for him. And he could hear his ego talking about negatively about her giving out so much advice, and he found that he was telling himself, well, this meeting is a waste of time. And then after the meeting, he was talking to someone else from the meeting, and he pointed out this lady's characteristic of giving advice when unasked for. And the person commented something like, yeah, she does do that. She does offer advice a lot. However, she is one of the best managers I've ever seen. Not only is she very intelligent, but she's also very compassionate. And Tim was like, what? We were having a different experience with the same person. And the other man went on to say how, how effective the meeting was and so on. It was like they were in two different meetings. Why? Because Tim was letting self-one, the ego, judge good, bad, critical. So he decided to go back in the meeting and to look for that which did work in the meeting, that which was a positive in the meeting, rather than letting the critical voice determine the whole meeting. He said it became a totally different meeting. He began to see her as she was, intelligent, compassionate. Yeah, she still was doling out advice to everybody, but he began to see the value in the meeting, had an opportunity also to contribute, and it was a totally different experience. Why? Because he used non-judgmental awareness, and he became present to what was happening, not listening to the negative chatter that was going on in his voice. So something to think about. Skill number one in developing relaxed concentration, aka living in the zone, working in the zone, playing in the zone, however you want to call that. Letting our self to, our spirit, our potential express. So next time we're going to talk about skill number two for developing relaxed concentration. So thanks for being with me today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or evening, whatever time. Those of you who are here listening right now, thanks for being with us today. If you have any comments and you want to put them down below, please do. And I will see you next time for another mindful moment. Thank you for joining me for a mindful moment. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more mindful moments as they go live. Click above for a list of previous mindful moments to enjoy on your own time anytime.